Well, first of all, the reason I was late is that I was working. Because my working day starts at 5 o'clock in the morning. Just for the benefit of James, I just want to, for our British friends, we explained that Morning Ireland is the Irish equivalent of the BBC Today programme, so that they understand a bit where we're coming from. And the good thing about having the name Pereira is that you come in the second half of the alphabet, therefore you're one of the later speakers, therefore everybody who came before you has already said what you were going to say, so my discussion will probably be quite short. And I'd like to reiterate actually a lot of what they said, but I'm not going to go on doing that for long. James, I've always known that there were scary things about the internet, but I have to say you put it on a whole new level for me today, so I think it was important for us to hear all the things you said. My fear of the whole internetization of journalism lies elsewhere, and that is its method of delivery. And it's not so much what's on the internet, it's how people access it. And what I worry is that for people who don't have my iPhone, which has gone missing, people who don't have these devices don't have the same access as people who do have the devices, therefore you're talking about the rich and the poor. And therefore you're talking about the poor not having access to information, and that's a really scary scenario. So I have fears for over journalism on the internet as well, but for different reasons. Then I would just want to reiterate what has been said by a couple of speakers already, which is that the longer I spend in the internet space, the longer I realize that new media is actually exactly the same as old media, or at least it should be. All the standards and practices that we uphold as journalists, it doesn't matter how you deliver your journalism, whether it's on Twitter or whether it's in a paper version of a newspaper, that it has to be accurate, it has to be truthful, it has to be, maintain standards of taste and decency, etc. And when I'm training or talking to people amongst my team who are just starting off on Twitter or just starting off in some other electronic platform, the first thing I say to them is do not write anything that you wouldn't be happy to see on the front page of a newspaper. Because once it's out there, it's out there. You don't know how it's going to be used, but if you've said it, it's liable to be used, and therefore you have to be sure that you really did want to say it. And then the third thing I just want to say is, I'm actually, because we've talked kind of about scary things here, I want to talk about some of the good things that we've experienced by being in cyberspace. One thing is that, to use the catchphrase of another well-known brand, it has given us wings. And I really can't emphasize that enough. I mean, it seems almost laughable to us nowadays that we used to be a 2-hour live radio program and that was it. And once we were off the air, we were gone. Whereas now we have podcasts, we have a website where we invite letters from our listeners, we have a news quiz, we have a photo, we have all kinds of things. So people can keep coming back to us. And what this has resulted in is, that for us, a much bigger awareness of our overseas audience. And this has become actually a really important thing to us. In the United States, we know that people download our podcasts and listen to them on the way to work as if they were here living in Ireland. And it gives them a real connection with home, which it would be hard for them to get otherwise. We know that in China we are evening Ireland, and in other parts of the world we're midday Ireland. But anyway, people are listening to us all over the world, and we have become aware of that audience, and we were never aware of that audience before. And it's become so important to us that we're actually planning at the moment to have a web-based program specifically for the Irish abroad. It's not going to go out on air, it's not going to be on your FM radio, it's only going to be on the web, and it's going to be us talking to our listeners abroad, finding out why they left Ireland. What are they doing? Where are they? What do they think should be fixed about Ireland that might allow them to come home? I just really want to say one more thing about the positive aspect of what we do. I think that the journalism on the internet has contributed to making people a lot more accountable. And I know, for example, that anything I say here may already be on Twitter, and if not, could be there pretty soon. So I have, I'm thinking, watch out what you say, So I think that and more people need to realize this actually, that it doesn't matter what kind of closed meeting you're in, what you say could reach a very big platform because of the internet. And I think as that more and more enters people's consciousness, this sense of accountability is going to get stronger. And so that's kind of about it, actually. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.